At the end of the day, you just got to find a way to compete at 7 o'clock every night. It's not about the swing a lot of the time. It's about getting in a mind frame, knowing what swing I have today. And some days you're feeling terrible coming to the ballpark. It's, all right, how do I survive today? And that's what all of us have to do. Just so happens when you're Rafael Devers, you're making a ton of money, and you're expected to be the guy on the front of the media guide. There's a little more pressure on you.
Let's just get into it.
Can I ask you, Brett? I just want to get right into it. Right. A guy like Rafi Devers, he's been in the game a long time, and he's had a lot of productive seasons. He's just, the at-bat quality is just all over the place right now, and I have never seen a guy miss so many right down the pipe fastballs who is a good hitter, and he just hasn't shown it with the Giants. How patient should the fan base be with this man? And at some point, he's got to turn it around, right?
No, absolutely, and he's an elite talent when it comes to getting in the box. You know, I wouldn't put him in the Soto category, but he's elite. I mean, you know, you see guys, and it's been a crazy start to the season. I mean, I remember having our preseason, you know, interviews that I was doing, and I look at the landscape, and I'm like, wow, was I wrong there, and there? I'm watching a team in Texas that, you know, I was a hitting coach a year ago for, and I'm watching a Corey Seager, who's also an elite hitter. Like you said with Devers, he's missing heaters, and I'm going, how is he missing those pitches? That's baseball. That's hitting. I've been in that box. It is tough, and at times you think, who am I swinging? But Devers comes over, you know, he had let's be honest, he had some baggage coming over here with the attitude he had in Boston, and it started, I won't play first base. Then he ends up getting traded to the San Francisco Giants. Tough yard to hit in as a left-handed hitter. Tough yard to hit in. But you're getting paid the money you're getting paid. As players, there's no excuses to be made. When push comes to shove, you've got to be the cog in the wheel in that offense. That's why they brought you in, to be the man that they stick in the middle of that lineup, and they expect you to carry the mail. And when you're not going to carry the mail, you're going to hear about it. You know, I know all about that, and as a player, I had that perspective. Was they pay me a lot of money to hit in the middle of a lineup and produce. And when I'm not producing, I'm going to hear it. And you know what? I deserve to hear it, because on the flip side of that coin, when I am getting it done, when I'm hitting 3-run homers, when we're winning every night, I'm going to get the praise. And that's kind of what you sign up for. And it's a big boy game. And when you're not getting it done, you got to wear it. Right now, Rafael Devers is not doing what the Giants need him to do. I look at the whole lineup. I look at an Arise. He's doing what you expect him to do.
He's been great.
He's hitting over 300. He brings a great kind of vibe. He's an upbeat, let's go, Adames. He's got to do a lot better than this. I think he's 0 for 20 his last 24. Chapman is expected to be a cog in the wheel. And you're getting it from a Lee, from a Schmidt. Guys that you don't expect to be the headliners when it comes to that Giants offense, coupled with the fact that you're playing in a tough division. You know, I don't care what you say. The Yankees are playing great right now. I had the Seattle Mariners to be one of the best teams in baseball. They're off to a rough start. A lot of teams that I expected to be a lot better off to real rough starts. But that Dodger team, I'll take the field when it comes to who's going to win the World Series. But if I have to pick a team, they're still the best. I think San Diego's playing a lot better than I expected them to be. I expected them to be a postseason team, but they've exceeded my expectations. Still have an elite bullpen down there in San Diego, and Arizona's good. So you're, coupled with the fact that you're off to a rough start, you're in a real tough division.
Brad, again, staying on Rafi Devers here. Again, it's off to a slow start, and it's early, but it's not going to be early for much longer. The swings and misses are ugly. The batted ball data is ugly. The bat speed's gone down. What is kind of the adjustment that maybe he can make right now? I mean, he's got the very exaggerated open stance. Is that something he needs to look into changing, or is there really no adjustment he can make? It's just a matter of he's just kind of got to figure out a way to get himself into a groove. Like, what is the solution for him to kind of pull himself out of this funk?
Like every great hitter, you know, he's got to find a way. There's no magic. There's no magic way to get out of a slump. It's trial and error. It's tinkering. It's in that cage. It's behind the scenes, trying a little of this, little of that, little of this. The open stance. I fiddled with it in my career. You know, I was slightly open. I was a little bit more open. I think in today's game, especially being a left-handed hitter, when the majority of the pitchers you face are right-handed, having that open swing and having both eyes on that pitcher definitely is an advantage. And I think you see that in today's game is everybody at worst is square with the exception of a Giancarlo Stanton, but usually have a slightly open stance. I think that's how he feels comfortable. I don't think that has anything to do with it. There's so many things you can point to when hitters are struggling. Is their head moving? And the slightest of little idiosyncrasies change the complete dynamic that you can't always see just with a naked eye. But Rafael, he's been there. He's done that. He's put up the numbers in the past. He's a great hitter that isn't hitting great right now, and he's got to find a way. Nobody else can do it except for him. And it's the trial and error. It's working on things behind the scenes. Okay, this isn't working. Let's try this. All right, back to the drawing board. And it's a daily drill that you have to do to find it. At the end of the day, you just got to find a way to compete at 7 o'clock every night. It's not about the swing a lot of the time. It's about getting in a mind frame, knowing what swing I have today. Is it my A swing where I can back leg you? Or, oh, nope, today I got to go with swing B to compete and help my team win a game. And some days when you're feeling terrible coming to the ballpark, it's, all right, how do I survive today? And that's what all of us have to do. Just so happens when you're Rafael Devers, you're making a ton of money, and you're expected to be the guy on the front of the media guide. There's a little more pressure on you.
You know, we got a big start today for Logan Webb, and his track record has been comprehensive. He's been a stud for quite some time. At the end of last year, you know, after the All-Star break, teams were hitting 285 against him. This year, they're hitting 262. He's been getting touched up a little. It just hasn't been as crisp. It hasn't been as sharp. What do you look for in guys that have thrown as many innings as he has to know that they still got that same stuff? Because we've got fans losing their minds over his raw, spin rates and the velocity and the ABS system playing games on him. And I just think he's hit a rough patch here, but I am a little worried. So, you've been in the dugout. Like, how are you guys viewing that when you're part of that coaching staff with someone like Logan Webb?
Well, that's what's so tough about today. Logan Webb, you're right. And I think stud is the word. I've watched him for years, and just his natural, when the ball comes out of his hand, how much it moves. That's always a positive for anybody. And that's not something you manufacture. That's just a God-given thing. In today's game, when you are so broken down to spin rate and this and that, and you got the average guy that's never been on a field in his life that can go to the data and say, your spin rate's this and that, it would drive me crazy. Once again, that's what you got to deal with if you sign up for this job, is you're going to be critiqued by guys that have never been within 100 yards of the batter's box, that are experts because they've got all the data and they're going to give it to you. It's part of it's one of the you got a lot of perks being in that position, but this is the flip side of the coin, is you're going to be critiqued by a lot. Let's be honest, a lot of guys that really don't have the credentials to critique you. That being said, they're fans, and that's the reason we play, and that's the reason we make a ton of money. So that comes with it. I think the Christmas, and it always comes down to this from a hitter. You keep the ball in the middle of the plate. As a hitter, I'm going to get you. You keep the ball on the edges, and especially with his elite stuff, you're going to be successful. And I hate to use examples from other teams because I watch the Texas Rangers quite a bit. I have an eye on them. I watch Nathan Eovaldi from a year ago, who was, before he got hurt at the end of the season for us, was my Cy Young candidate. He was the guy, but all of a sudden, this year to start the season, I see it in his face. I see it in the start. Evaldi's pitching today too, as with Webb. And you call this a big start? It's a big start for him. He's all over the map. He's got that stuff, but I can just see he's not, his mechanics aren't quite right. He's not able to put the ball exactly where he's used to putting it. And it all comes down to location. In a day and an age where we put so much emphasis on velocity and the radar gun and exit velocity, the great pitchers still live on the edges. They keep it out of the middle of the plate. You watch SportsCenter. Well, SportsCenter, I'm kind of dating myself here. But if you watch who hit home runs today, Every home run's in the middle of the plate. It's a mistake. Once in a while, a hitter, you take a great pitch down and in on the edge, and you hit it out. And as a hitter, I go, wow, what a swing. But usually all the damage is done in the middle of the plate. And I think with Webb right now, that's what he's doing. He's a little bit more in the middle of the plate with his stuff. Still got elite stuff. But when you stay and you're not on the edges and you're in the middle of the plate, you're going to get hurt by big league hitters.
You know, you've watched now almost a full month of the ABS. And again, that was part of the conversation for Logan Webb. Hey, a guy that lives on the edges, has the strike zone been affected regarding the ABS and tightening and whatnot? I find the ABS to be kind of interesting. I didn't know what to expect, quite frankly, when you use it. What count you use it in, how early in the game you use it, trying to steal a strike, maybe slow the pace of the game down at the end of a game if you have a couple of challenges left in your back pocket. Your overall opinion on maybe who might have the edge right now, pitchers or hitters, in this ABS kind of 1 month trial we're in?
Well, I think, when the ABS was I welcome the ABS at this point. With the technology we have and the critique that you just nonstop hear it from the announcers to, oh, that was a strike. To have this ABS system, I think is great. I think the fans love it. I think it's entertaining. I think it's that 5 second when the music, the do music comes on, and then, you hear a roar either way. Once again, huge entertainment value, and I think it's great. I think it's also shined a light on how good these umpires actually are. To call with the velocity and the spin rate, I'm kind of coming into the modern era spin rate that we have today. It's not easy being back there when you're that critiqued on the edges by a computer. I think it's showing how good these umpires really are and how much they get it right more often than not. I think the advantage is with the catchers as actually seeing it. But I was interested to see how, from a strategic standpoint, I had this conversation with my brother on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I said, what is your strategy in the dugout? When do you use it? Because as a hitter, I know we get emotional, and we might have not got a hit in the last 6 or 7 at bats, and it was a close one. And no, I can't go down on strikes again. And I tapped my head when really that was emotion getting caught up in, oh, I can't do this again, when really it was a strike. So I think it's going to be something that plays out as it goes on. I think these players are going to get used to it and have a little more wits about them, when to use it, when not to. But it's tough to tell a guy that's struggling with all those emotions going through his head that, hey, it's the second inning, there's 2 outs and nobody's on base. Probably not a time to use it unless you're 100% sure, versus 7th inning, something that changes a 2-1 count or a 1-2 count into a 2-1 count with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. So easier said than done. I think the players this is new for all of them, so they're kind of feeling their way. And, I also think about the emotional part of the ABS. It's like, what if you get the called third strike as a pitcher? You're struggling on the mound. You're getting out of a big situation. And you strike 3. Wait a minute. It's being challenged. Oh, nope, it was ball. It's a ball 4. How does that change your psyche? As a hitter, how does that change your psyche when you think you just walked in the tying run and all of a sudden, no, it was strike 2, and now you got to get back in battle? You went from what a great at bat to lay off that pitch to, oh, no, it was a strike and I got to battle again. So I don't think we're calculating that in as much, the emotional side of this ABS, and it adds a really kind of cool nuance to it. Like I said, once again, more entertainment value. But I think it's something that'll weed its way out. And guys, as the season goes on, they're going to get a little more aware and, okay, I'm learning from my mistakes when I challenge. Now I'm not going to challenge so much. Interesting dynamic. And I think, once again, great for the game of baseball. I think in a couple years, we're going to be beyond this ABS, and it's just going to be strictly a robot umpire, which I think at this stage, as old school as I am, I think you have to have it with the modern day technology. You have to have it now, at least as a hitter, as a pitcher. I don't worry about who the umpire is today. I don't worry about it anymore because I know exactly from a scientific measure what a strike is and what a ball is. So there's no more arguing. It is what it is. And it's not the umpire having a bad day behind the plate or an umpire having a good day behind the plate. They've thrown caution to the way. It's not a matter of opinion anymore. And I think it's time, the way our society is progressing, I think it's time for this, and actually I welcome it.
So not to get too in the weeds on this one, but one of my only, it's not a gripe. It's more of a question. And you play the game. Some guys are more upright. They might be 6'6", but they crouch real low. And so we're doing these static measurements on all of these guys, and that creates the batter strike zone. But I think of a guy like Mark McGwire, who was a taller individual, but he got down real tight and low in his stance. And so is that what his strike zone is, based off his stance, or is it based off his static measurement of how tall he is? Do you get what I'm saying there, Booney?
Yeah, I completely get it, because for me, I was very, because I'm not the tallest guy out there, so I had to create height. So I stood very narrow to get as high as I could get to gain the leverage that I naturally have, I don't have being 5'10". Now, with 2 strikes, I get in a completely different stance, and now I'm a foot lower.
Exactly.
Now, does the technology have the ability to know mid at bat? Can that computer measure me and adjust the strike zone accordingly? It has to be able to do that if this is going to be a foolproof way of going forward. You have to be able to know Altuve at every stance he jumps in.
Exactly.
Okay. The computer's got it, but also Aaron Judge is coming up next, and I have to have the same advancements, the same computer technology to be able to advance that too. So as long as you can tell me for sure they have it, and who's going to know right away is the pitchers and the hitters.
Yes.
They're going to come back and go, they're not measuring when I make an adjustment in my 2 strike stance. But I think technology, as far as it's come, I think they're going to be able to get
agree.
that right. There's always going to be kinks in the armor, but I think they're going to get it right. I don't think they're going to roll it out fully until they're really confident that we got this.